few weeks ago from high school, and I guess it still feels very unreal. It seems like that's something that you always think about and know is going to happen, and then it really happened, but it doesn't feel real.
You've lived 18 years in either the same place or sort of the same groove, depending on your life situation, and then you have to go off by yourself, and it's just different.
I did go to orientation a few weeks ago, and I think the biggest change was just life without my mom. When the parents left the first night, and it's just you don't know what I'm gonna be doing or where I'm gonna be, and it's just weird.
I think that the biggest thing that I'm striving for in college is probably living up to my full potential, because I didn't do that so well in high school. I have to think about the biology that I learned freshman year is going to affect my MCAT score, which is going to affect how I get into medical schools.
I think that the measuring of success in high school and college is going to be really different, so I just don't know yet. I think that's something that's going to take time to figure out.
It's a lot easier to succeed at something when you know it's you that made that choice. I didn't have to take biology or chemistry or neural pathways. I didn't want to. Whereas in high school, you had to take a certain amount of classes for Ohio state law.
I think some of the greatest challenges we're going to have to face are making a name for ourselves that goes beyond what the rest of the world thinks. I think people really think of our generation as being texting all the time and on our computers all the time and that kind of thing, and I think that's not what we are, and I think we're going to have to work hard to overcome that reputation.
Being able to fix the problems that were created and are still being created by a lack of organized effort to further the success of posterity, whereas right now all of the conflict is just exacerbating the issues that are facing the world at this point in time.
And escaping the end of the world.
Yeah, that's right. Assuming that the world doesn't end at the end of 2012.
I think the person that's influenced me the most is my mom. I think she's taught me a lot about sacrifice and, choosing to do things that are fulfilling to yourself but also help other people.
I think I would probably pick my history teacher of 3 years, Dan Parker, because he just taught me so much more than the basic history material that we learned in class. Rather, I think that he imparted a sense of always questioning everything, and I think that that's a really important thing to have.
Yeah, and I also think our teacher, Mr. Parker, used to talk about how this climate that we live in isn't how it always was, and that it's gonna be it's hard for our generation to imagine it being any other way. I think our greatest challenge as a nation is the polarity that there's people on really extremes of both sides who are just really refusing and failing to come together and make some sort of agreement.
Yeah, I would concur with that. I think, poignant would be that the Affordable Health Care Act was just upheld by the Supreme Court, but, why was it challenged in the first place? I just think it's appalling how much people don't want to get along. As far as the Social Security thing is concerned, we're going to have no money left over, and that's something that is going to be a problem in the future, and people are just too concerned with being cutthroat that they aren't caring about what's going to happen for future generations.
I think that our generation really fails to make it said that we want to be heard and that we want our interests looked out for. I think, I think if people of our generation don't feel that we're being fairly represented, we need to speak up and say that and not wait for other people just to represent us.
Probably, I would tell Congress that they need to stop bickering with each other like an old married couple, considering it's, just absolutely absurd the fact that they get nothing done. But I think that I would tell Obama that I think he's really great, but that sometimes as a president, sticking up for your beliefs is more important than a second term. don't worry about the 24-hour news cycle, worry about creating prosperity for the people of the country rather than prosperity for yourself in the newsroom.
I think that what's made the conservative wing of this country so much stronger in the last couple of years is just they're not afraid to come out and say that they're conservative, and they're not afraid to back up their beliefs and to really stand for, what they believe in. And I think it should be the same with liberals. I don't think that Obama or the Democrats need to apologize for being liberal. I think there's a lot of issues that don't have the most popular backing in the liberal arena, but I think that we need to stand up for that so that it becomes more legitimate. She says the mosquitoes don't like her.
The mosquitoes don't bite me out of respect.
The mosquitoes bite me a lot.
Really expensive raincoats.
For college, I guess I'm kind of afraid of not really making friends, but I'm also not really afraid of that because I can be friends with the internet.
Because of your sunny disposition. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I have a really sunny disposition. Plus, I also don't really care about whether or not I have friends.
Oh, Marky. I'm scared of making friends. I think I'm scared of just reaching a point. Right now I feel like I know what I want to do, but I'm afraid of reaching a point where I don't and just being really lost and having no idea what I want to do.
They're doing a lot of research now about how to create artificial dopamine, which is something that affects a variety of different diseases, one of them in particular being Parkinson's. And so I think that developing an artificial dopamine that isn't rejected by the body system would be really interesting to work on.
I hope that my most significant contribution is making sure that, the women of our generation are better heard and better represented, and, making sure that we're powerful and able to make our mark on the world better.
Yeah, I don't really have an answer to that.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Utilizing all of the new technology that we have to create a better world for everybody, like the use of highly advanced small tools for surgery that work automatically, greatly reduces the cost of surgery and also ensures that people are really getting the kind of care that they need. Hannah really is passionate about Africa, the irrigation, stuff like that can all be helped by modern technology as soon as we really get it to everybody.
People say that our generation is the first generation that won't do better than our parents, but I think that my wish is that we kind of defy that by redefining what success is. So even if we don't make more money than our parents, that we're just more successful at improving just the world and being nicer and starting less wars. That's my hope for our contribution as a generation.
Let us rejoice in the truth that we are able-bodied. Today, let us all be the epitome of proud, for the growth that has flooded us is immense, and tomorrow, the future, is what we will have it to be.
Now, looking towards the future, away from the safety and sanctuary of adolescence, I have only one message to impart to you all. Do not be afraid. Not knowing exactly what your future plans are right now does not mean you are doomed to a career as an ice cream truck driver. No one in the history of humanity has explicitly known their path in life from start to finish. The joy of living is in the journey of living, which would not be complete without twists and turns.
Toasters don't toast, 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 toast.